Hello, good people. Welcome to another episode of Shaniqua Speaks. Ah, I'm such a cornball. It's okay. I love it. So, listen, we're going to have a conversation today. It's probably going to be one of many conversations where I share with you lessons that I learned loving the wrong man. So, let me just be clear. This is not about them, right? Um, this is not about the wrong man. My hope for you is that you take away that, first of all, I am my own person, right? I am my own person. I can heal, recover, and grow from anything. So when I consider those things, I don't blame people. I don't hold people accountable, I'm not hold people accountable because I do, but I don't make people responsible for my outcomes. I don't make other people responsible for my outcomes because guess what? Making people responsible for your outcomes also puts you in a position to be stuck until they do something about you ultimately, right? So I want us to focus on and keep our mind and our lens going toward not people or not the wrong men, but more so what we learned about ourselves, what I learned about myself in those processes, because truly that's how we grow, that's how we develop. And, when it's all said and done, because again, I welcome everybody into the room and at the table to have the conversation. But most of everything that I'm going to share, aside from when I'm being goofy, but most of everything I'm going to share is going to be Christ-centered and Christ-focused. When you stand before God, He's not going to ask you about what other people did, which I'm really thankful for, right? Because I can't control other people. I cannot make other people do what they don't want to do. I'm held accountable for, and I am asked about what I did with the time that I had in the earth, with the power, the authority, with everything that God gave me. So it's not about the other people on the end of this conversation. It's not that at all. So come on with me. Let's talk about it. So this is going to be a series. And the first thing I want to share with you, is this first point. I wrote notes, y'all, because I want to be an adult. You should never approach love from a place of deficit. You should never approach love or get into relationship because of a need or because of something that you desire, because you're trying to fill a hole. So listen, every time I got in a relationship where I was not whole, I'll say, because I don't think wholeness is the one-time event. I think wholeness is something that we start when we're born and it culminates at the end of your life. I think there's a wholeness that we go through, an evolution. So, but anytime I approached a relationship or I put myself out in the field, dating and got into a relationship from a place of deficit, I ended up getting the outcomes that you get when you go out there. When you go out, looking for 20, right? You get 20. Instead of going out as your 80, as your 90, as you wherever you are in your process, going out as whole as you possibly can, right? And welcoming in what you desire. Every time I approached a relationship from a place of deficit, I got scarcity love, ride or die love, what's understood ain't got to be explained love. If you know me, you know that phrase right there, tear me up. I'll be ready to flip a table over that. Okay, so here's this. In my journey, I learned that humans, each and every one of us, are born, because we're born into the world. We're born with a deficit. We're born with a deficit. Adam, Eve, they tripping. Y'all could have did that, on your own time. what we doing here, but I digress, right? Because now I have, I've accepted Jesus Christ, and I know having accepted Jesus Christ, he levels the playing field for me. Okay, so he levels the playing field. And then since you're born into this world, you're born into scarcity, your mind has to be changed or renewed. Then it comes down to the love from your parents. So, okay, some people are born into a two-parent household. Some people are born into positive single family households, or whatever the case is that you're born into, where you may or may not have received the love that you desire to receive, or a love that made you whole, right? Okay, you got that. You add that on top of it. I'm already born at a deficit because I'm born into sin. And then I have my familial dynamics, like whatever that looks like. Me personally, I was born into a single parent household, and my mother was, and that's anybody to know her. No. I love you, Ma. No, but anybody that knows her knows that she is. My mom has had some experiences. She has some experiences that shaped her. And let me say this: there could never be another woman that could be the woman that my mother was. I think my mother did an incredible job raising me, not because I feel like I'm perfect, but because she gave me everything she had. That's what I do know. I know she gave me everything she had. I also know that she gave me God. And at the end of the day, that's the best thing that she could have ever given me. So, but she was born. She had some experiences that shaped her and caused her to see life the way that she saw it. And by default, she gave me her best, even though her best may have come from its place of deficit, right? Like, so, if she had experiences that shaped her and caused her to see life, love, and everything else a certain way, then, she's going to impart those in me because she wants what's best for me. Because she understands, she's trying to prepare me for life and prepare me for, not to have some of the experiences that she has had. So we got they were born into sin. Then we're born into whatever our familiar structure is. So, all of that being said, we also have to go on this journey of self-love. Now, learning to love yourself, when you learn to love yourself and what that looks like, you change the game. Your eyes open up in a completely different way. I'm going to suggest to you, when you went into relationship, or what I'll say about myself, when I went into the relationships that taught me the most lessons about myself, I went into them without a healthy self-love. I thought self-love was getting my hair done, getting my nails done, making a certain amount of money, all the things that society teach us that self-love is. Instead, as I've gone through my journey, I've learned that self-love actually is, Shaniqua, when you know your strengths, right, and you know your weaknesses, you don't get involved or you don't entertain those things that you know are weaknesses, right? Or just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you should do something. Or if you don't stand for yourself, if you are going to lower your standards and entertain what somebody is offering you, why would that person give you anything more than what you're settling for? Here's another thing. In a toxic dating culture, we have a lot of women approaching a certain thing and saying, like, hey, if he don't make six figures, then, I can't deal with him, and I can't this and I can't that. Well, ma'am, Miss Mamas, you don't make six figures. Now, that's not to take away from the fact that you may value or you may have a desire for a man that makes 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever the case is. But here's my question from you. How is it that you want from somebody? You want something from somebody that you don't have yourself or you don't possess yourself. If I lack discipline, right? My answer is not to go find somebody that has discipline and then lean on them for discipline. The answer is to develop discipline within myself. And then I will attract somebody who has the discipline that I long for, or that I, desire to get the place I desire to get myself to, right? So loving the wrong man has taught me you should never approach love from a place of deficit. The way you approach love to get the fullest outcome, to get the best result, and I'm talking about in terms of relationship, male, female, that whatever that desire is for you. The best way to show up in a relationship is having a healthy love for myself. Here's another reason why. When you don't have a healthy love for yourself, you show up in people's lives as liability. You show up in people's lives looking for them to make you happy, when that's not anybody's responsibility. You'll see life in a very different way when you love yourself, because then you can make a decision from a whole place. And again, I'm using that term loosely, right? Because wholeness is not a one-time event. You get there and then you got it all together. Transparency. As a single woman, and as a woman who considered herself someone who had a healthy love for myself, I'm learning things about myself in marriage that I did not know or did I get a chance to experience if I was not in marriage. So, discover self-love. Go on a journey of loving yourself. Loving yourself is going to position you differently. You won't accept scarcity, trap, hood, love, whatever that means to you, right? You won't entertain those things that don't build you up instead of tearing you down. There was this meme on Facebook where this girl, a reel or something like that, when she was saying I'm so tired of ride or die love, ride or die, ride or die, ride or die. And it was so funny to me. She's like, because at this point, no, it's just die love. Like that's what it is for me. I'm not going there anymore. I'm done with that love. Now, I will say this, having been a young lady who was raised in church and has been in church all her life, I'm not sure how I was prepared in church to love or to know what I should receive. I didn't get, so my dad lived in an entirely different state, so I didn't have that day-to-day with him that gives us women a foundation, right? I didn't have that day-to-day. When I was with him, my world was perfect, right? I knew that there was no problem that I would encounter that, that my daddy couldn't fix, right? He put me on a pedestal when I was in his presence, right? But then when he was gone, to me, it felt like I was an afterthought. I wasn't a part of his day-to-day. So you know how that showed up in me? I ended up attracting men who were emotionally unavailable. They were emotionally unavailable. So when you approach love from a deficit, when you approach going into a relationship from a place of deficit, meaning I want to feel protected, or I just want somebody to keep me company, or just those things. So for me, one thing that was important to me was, again, feeling protected. Because remember, like I told you, when my daddy was here, I had no issues. I had no worries. I had money. I had the things that a father provides just by being present. No shade to my mother. I love myself because of my mother. I know how to move in the world because of my mother. But the father is important. Nothing can replace him. Nothing. So I approached love from that place, from that deficit place. So I wanted a thug at one time in my life. Now I am as corny can get, and as square can get. Okay, I'm scared of everything. I just am. Like I don't, but that was what I wanted at one time in my life, or that's what I thought I wanted. So listen, this is going to be a series. This is going to be a journey that we're going to go on. Let me know what you think in the comments. Can you see that in your relationships, in the times or in the relationships that you've had with people, where with men, where or women, right? Because it's not about man or woman. It's not that. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. That's, guess what? That's a product of the curse, right? If I was on here talking about, men ain't, that's the curse that, happened. That was the result of sin. So I'm not bashing anybody, but in a really reflective way, can you think about some times that you approached a relationship and you approached it from a place of deficit and you got exactly that, your deficit? Okay. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay. Follow me on all my social media platforms. I'll probably be dropping a video every day. Thank y'all. Love you. Bye.